Hello, and welcome to today's episode of Date in a Blink, where we're hosting Vinky and Kingston for a Blink date. What is Date in a Blink, you ask? It's a 10-minute, audio-only, blind speed date experience. It's also a bit of a social experiment designed to move people beyond looks-based assumptions, curated profiles, and marathon messaging.
We at The Blink Date want dating to be fun and inspiring for blinkers and hope this podcast inspires you to try new ways of meeting people and dating. Will our hand-picked matches find love on these Blink dates? Or will they say goodbye to each other after 10 minutes and never look back?
If you're new here, we're so happy you could join us. If you're a regular, we're so glad you've returned. Before we jump into today's Blink date, here's a quick word from our sponsors. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain a bit. It's totally free, and Anchor will distribute the podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and lots of other podcasting platforms. Not only that, but it has creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. It also lets you make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make your podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. We are here today on Date in a Blink with Vinky and Kingston. I'm going to let you two dive in, but in case it's helpful to get the conversation started, I'm going to leave you with a question. What seemed like a good idea at the time, but turned out to be a terrible idea?
I have a really terrible example of that.
Yeah, go right ahead. I still have to think about that. So, ladies first.
Oh boy. Wow. I'm trying to figure out what can I say that will be publicly announced. It's fine. So I grew up in East Coast and I moved over to West Coast and I never really did weed or smoked weed or anything like that because it wasn't legal and I'm weird about that. So I was like, okay, not going to try. When I moved to the West Coast, obviously it's legal, so I decided to try it out. And I tried an edible, and I was convinced it didn't work on me. I was just like, this isn't working on me. Like, I don't care for it. People are like, no, it'll work. And I decided to take 3. Bad idea.
Oh, my goodness.
Such a bad idea. Everything was fine. I was actually at a restaurant. This was pre-COVID. Apparently the bar area had brick flooring and I had high heels on. So when I stood up, I think it hit me. So I kind of tripped. But when I tripped, I fell on the brick floor. It hit my head and I had a brain hemorrhage and I had to go to the hospital. Everything is fine now. I had all the surgeons, all the scan done, but I felt like an idiot. And I was just, my parents, like, they know me. They know I don't do irresponsible things like this. This was just like a fluke. So they tried to like not laugh when they saw me at the hospital because I just looked so annoyed at myself. I'm like, I can't believe I did this. It's so ridiculous. So this was my regret story.
Wait. So you had 3 edibles and at the restaurant, or was this like pre-gaming a night out or what?
So it was throughout the day. So I think it was over a course of maybe 4 to 5 hours.
Okay.
Where I had a total of 3 edibles. And I took one in the Uber, the last one in the Uber. See, again, I was trying to be irresponsible. I actually even got an Uber to take me back home. And because I hit and fell my head, Uber charged me $5 for not showing up.
Oh my God. Wait, so what was the experience like? Because I've never had an edible before. I have smoked like once or twice, but I didn't really feel anything at the time. So what is that whole experience like? Some friends get paranoid. Some friends get like super
I have. I've seen friends. So for me, and maybe this is a bad thing because it's always a fun high for me.
Uh-huh.
I'm usually very happy and I laugh, but I have seen some friends get really, really paranoid. But after this experience, I'm just not a fan of this. I'm like, I don't plan because it's something you can't control. It just hits you when it does. And I don't like that aspect of it. I want to know what's going on. I want to know how much I'm taking. This is like in case I want to dab into this in future.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like in the future, maybe you might not take 3 at a time, right?
No. Lesson learned.
Yeah, serious.
But yeah, what about you?
Oh my God. I honestly didn't actually think about the question anymore because I was busy wondering what the hell was happening. Oh, geez. I think one thing I may regret. So I went to school down in, I don't know how much private information we want to give out. I personally don't mind, but I went down to school in San Diego, and there's like an annual concert called like Sun God. And we got like a whole bunch of our friends down to come visit us, even though, they technically weren't, students or anything. They shouldn't have been allowed to go. We also didn't buy wristbands for them. So we were just kind of like, hey, come on down. We'll figure it out as we go. And we rented out a hotel just for the day. And we had like maybe 15 to 20 people just in this tiny hotel room, which nowadays, COVID times sounds absolutely insane.
Right.
But obviously a bunch of people got completely trashed within like 30 minutes. I didn't drink all that much at the time. I was planning on just being the designated driver, but with one car and 20 people, I don't know really how I was planning on shuttling people back and forth. So we rented out this hotel room, and within, 30 minutes, people are having a good time, but just super messy. And we get the cops called on us, and the manager of the hotel is screaming at us and telling us that like he's going to take pictures of all our license plates and we're going to get kicked out of school. And then no one's taking her seriously. But of course, people are, puking all over the place. And one of my friends was sitting on the curb waiting for me to take him to, the concert. And we look back at him, and all of a sudden, like, his face is just completely bloody. He's got, he just kind of face planted the floor, I guess. And then a bunch of our friends, we just take them to some random dorms, our dorms, our flatmates' dorms, people we don't really know. We're just kind of like, hey, can we leave them here for a bit? And a bunch of us actually didn't end up going to the concert because of that. It makes for a good story, but I don't think I would prefer to do that again.
Oh my goodness. And your friend's okay though, right? After.
Yeah. I mean, he still has the scar. It's almost like Harry Potter-ish because it's like kind of a crooked scar right on.
I love
his forehead.
Harry Potter, by the way. But.
Yeah, definitely. Not as magical as Harry Potter, but there's something there.
Can't sense Voldemort around. But.
Yeah, right.
Oh wow, crazy. Okay, mine didn't have alcohol, but these substance, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I'm more of a like don't knock it till you try it kind of person, but I think I'm in the same ring as you, where it's kind of like you can't really control when it hits you. You can't really control how good of a time you're gonna have. And I feel like there's so much stuff that's kind of out of your control when you put all this stuff into your body. If I personally don't really know my limits, so I'd rather not push my limits.
100% agreed. 100% agreed. And I think as you age more and you have more responsibilities, and you just kind of think about what would happen if there's something. So yeah, it's a lot more responsible. Well, you know what? It happened relatively recently.
Never too late to learn.
Exactly. 100%.
I mean, for me, it's more just that like this stuff isn't cheap. Like I'd rather just have like a beer or a glass of wine at home when like I'm comfortable, put on a show or something. But if I go out to Vegas or something and I buy one shot, it's already $25. I can't live like that.
And it's not even good. And it's like, sometimes I want to splurge on great stuff, but if it's not worth it, that does infuriate me.
Right.
I recently got into craft cocktails, so I've been making that at home, and I did
Oh,
not
nice.
realize how expensive all the bitters and all these other things are that you need.
Yeah, although like with bitters, I mean, how much is a bottle, like one bottle of like Angostura?
Like $20.
Oh, wow, okay.
Well, it depends if like I kind of read up on the reviews. I'm like, okay, this is the best one. Like,
Right,
if I'm gonna get it, I might as well get the good ones. So I
right.
think it was like around like close to 20.
Although, you only use like, a
A little
couple
bit.
of couple of
Yeah,
dashes each, right? So I guess the 20
exactly.
goes a long way.
Yeah. And
And
you want to
sorry.
make, no, I think it's the part where you want to make sure like whatever you're putting in your body, it's good. It's not like just, yeah. So I make like fresh juices if I'm using that for the cocktail. I think it helps with the hangover. I think you're less hungover if you have good quality ingredients.
Right, right. Is that something you've just picked up because of, the whole worldwide situation, or is that something you've wanted to get into for a while?
I've always enjoyed it, but I think I didn't have time because of course I'm doing things outside. So COVID definitely, in a weird way, COVID has helped me a lot to kind of go back to a lot of hobbies that I used to have or want to have. And I
Right.
finally had the chance. But
So, like, what would your go to craft cocktail be then?
it changes. Right now, I'm really into whiskey sour, like different
Okay.
flavors of whiskey sour. I don't know why. Just
At this point in the day, I jumped in to let them know that their date had ended and let them say their farewells. As Vinky and Kingston shared their stories, both which involved serious injuries that thankfully resolved well, I wondered just how boring of a person I was, since my answer to this question was a law school. It seemed like a good idea at the time, but it turned out to be a terrible one, for me at least. It felt like Vinky and Kingston had a lot more to share. Do you think they matched? Tune in to the end of the season to see how things panned out. That's all we've got for you today. Shoot us a message on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook at TheBlinkDate or at Date in a Blink to let us know what you think. If you want to sign up to participate in Date in a Blink, visit our website at www.theblinkdate.com. In the meantime, thanks for joining us for this episode. We hope you enjoyed listening and look forward to talking with you again next time.